Well, hello guys, my name is Mukesh and we are learning CISSP. Uh, Next is security roles and responsibilities. So there are role and responsibility for security. The first one, there is a senior manager. What his role? He is responsible for approving and giving a sign off to all the effective before they are carried out. So anything need to be done, he need to be given approval for that. If somebody need to make a changes in the system, or they are implementing a new system, new security system, or installing a new firewall or a security device or application or database, so the senior manager is the one who give permissions, and security professional is responsible for implementing security policies. So he will be responsible that it need to be implemented, security policies that user cannot access data, user can access between 9 to 5 p.m. after 5 they cannot access, or user cannot browse the particular website. Such kind of policies need to be done by security professional. Third one is data owner. Data owner normally delegate the responsibility to the data custodian responsible for data protection. So he is the one who responsible for protection of the data. Number 4 is data custodian is perform all security duty assigned by senior management, testing and deploying. So whoever number 3 will perform him duty, or only number 3 will perform him duty. So he will testing the data and deploying the data, he will do that. Number 5 is a user will having personal having access to secure system with limited privilege to perform specific task. Basically a normal user do not have any access to configure it, manage it or implement it. He basically use some basic applications, the one he have access to, but he should have a good knowledge that what not to do in organization. He should be aware. So aware like not to browse harmful websites, like the porn or others, or not to attach USB, although those are the policy in the company. So security professional can block those access. Next is number 6 is auditor. Auditor is the person who is responsible for reviewing and verifying the security policies. So there are the policy here 1 2 3 4, what everyone is doing, he will be reviewing and verifying it, and if he find any loophole, any breach, he will go back to the senior manager or the security professional to talk about it. Next is type of security policies. What type of security policies are there? We have been talking about. Type of security policies, regulatory policies. Regulatory policy ensure organization is following standard industry regulation. There are industry regulations are there. If they are following it, it is basically for international standard organizations or multinational companies. This policy must be implemented due to compliance regulation or other legal requirements. So this policy is, suppose you are using Microsoft Windows, so license agreement, antivirus license agreements or other policies. So following the regulatory policy. Second one is here, second one is advisory policy. Here advisory policy strongly advise employee on the behavior and activity should and should not take place in the organization. So there is a policy, advisory policy, that you do not want something to be blocked or something not to be done, but you are advising them that avoid it, not to do. So these policies are not basically mandatory, but are strongly suggested, perhaps with serious consequences defined. Because advisory policy need not to be done, you simply block something, you do not need to advise them, and user is not going to listen. But these are recommended if something you don't want to stop, but you want to advise. Next is informative policy. Informative policies are the policy that exists simply to inform the reader. Is informative mean just the informations to the reader. There are no implied or specified requirement to follow the policy. Next is the security standard. What are the security standards over here? So control may be internal and control may be external. It depends on the company. What kind of a controls, internal inside the organization, or external is from outside the organizations. External use the third party standard help. So external control required the third party help. standard that define requirement for hardware and software technology and security controls. It give directions to the company in order to running the business in a professional manner. So most of the multinational companies, they are using a standard. Standard is nothing much but a way to define how to manage things, how to access things, or a guideline basically. So for example, trusted computer, this is the one. System evaluation criteria, these are the one. Security standards, information security evaluation criteria, National Institute of Standard and Technology, International Standard Organization of Standardization, Information Security Management, National Institute of Standard and Technology, and Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. So these all standard, the where to use whom standard, that's let's talk about it. Here understand the security policies, standards, baseline and procedures. So let's talk about with the first one is the procedure. Procedure is security procedure is understand a detailed step by step how to document that describe the exact action necessary to implement a specific security mechanism, control or unit. So deploying a firewall or antivirus. So you need to document, you need to be document properly that we need a firewall for what, the user who are accessing from outside the network, they should not be enter inside the organizations, or you need to be updating antivirus policy, updating antivirus every second day or every once in a week. So everything need to be done with a very step by step to document it, the exact necessary implementation. So if because that is a document is going to help the security manager to understand it more and to implement in the network. Next is, in most cases procedure are system and software specific. So there are in cases where the procedure are system and software specific. The purpose of procedure is to ensure integrity of business process. So that is why we do. Due care and due intelligence is the next. Due care is about, due care is good citizen, minimum necessary standard to care the employee by an organization or by an organization employee. Due care is act to be responsible person. So act to be responsible person is suppose there is a warehouse there and somebody enter it and steal something or broke something. So usually warehouse should have a guard, a physical security, a security guard to be there to protect unauthorized access, or it should be have a CCTV camera, or it should be have a security device who can access. So suppose if CCTV camera are not in a place, then we have to inform. So suppose you are a normal company's employee, you are not a security manager, you are normal user, but you find out that it used to be a security camera but it is missing. So you should be a good citizen, due care, you can tell company that there should be a camera and it is not there. And what if the camera is not there, you are IT manager or someone and you find the camera is missing? So who is responsible for that camera to be there? If it is not there, fire the guy, you know, like incident happened to be an employee, we need to give them holiday if necessary. So due intelligence is due care, that is called due care. Due intelligence is verify those responsibility of due care. It is verify that control of an security program. In another word, it is process of verification. Okay. So if we made a website, then before upload we need to test it, penetrate it. Penetration is like it is secure, because if you put a website there and people try to hack it or put some content into that or delete some of the content. So make sure before keeping it on live on the internet, you have to test it. Second is backup, background verification and risk management. So do all the R&D before you make something happen actually. So let's learn threat modeling in the next session. Thank you.